Southwest Stories with Steve Brown is made possible by the support of the Real Route 66, Chicago to LA, a 2-week tour of America's Mother Road, May 2015. Lake Havasu City, Arizona, home to the historic London Bridge. Beaches, boating, fishing, and golf. Calmada Boutique Hotel, a desert bed and breakfast resort with a French chef, located on 40 acres near Joshua Tree National Park. China Ranch, a working date farm and natural oasis near Death Valley National Park, open for visitation year-round. The Ridgecrest area, western gateway to Death Valley National Park, home to the annual Petroglyph Festival. The historic 29 Palms Inn, dining, music, and lodging on the Oasis of Mara near Joshua Tree National Park.
Some people think of the Southwest as barren and empty. To me, it's the landscape of my soul, filled with stories. Great stories of people and places, ambitions, dreams and visions, visits with friends, and mysteries of the past. There's awesome natural beauty, ancient, elusive, and wise. Adventures with characters, historical and fictional. Larger-than-life legends, captivating destinations, and, of course, everyday people. These are tales of a timeless journey and the people we meet along the way. I'm Steve Brown, and these are Southwest Stories.
Oh, the summertime has come, and the leaves are gently blooming.
When most people think of the American Southwest, they don't think of California's vast Mojave and Colorado deserts. But when I think of the western end of the Southwest, I think of the Banning or San Gorgonio Pass. It was here where John C. Van Dyke, an asthmatic middle-aged art history professor from New Jersey, rode his pony east into the desert in 1898 with his fox terrier riding on its back. For several years, Van Dyke wandered the desert, and from those wanderings came one of the greatest books about the desert ever written, simply titled The Desert. Heading east between the two great mountains of the pass, San Jacinto and San Gorgonio, you rise out of the seemingly endless sprawl of Los Angeles and the Inland Empire into the Coachella Valley in the Colorado Desert. Just before you reach Palm Springs, there is one lone exit for California Route 62. The highway leads north up through more mountain passes into the high desert. This region that lies along the borders of Joshua Tree National Park is my home turf, and I'd like to share a little of it with you. At the base of the mountains here, there was once an area known as the Devil's Garden, an area rich with cactus. This area became endangered as native plants and cactus were dug up and sold for landscaping purposes. The destruction of native desert plants at Devil's Garden and elsewhere caught the attention of Pasadena socialite and gardener Minerva Hamilton Hoyt. She founded the International Deserts Conservation League and recommended large parks be created at Death Valley, Anza Borrego, and the Joshua Tree area. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed a proclamation forming Joshua Tree National Monument in 1936. Hoyt's concerns over the destruction of native desert plants had led to the creation of what is now Joshua Tree National Park. While digging up or destroying desert plants in the wild is a bad idea, on the way up Route 62, the highway that leads to Hoyt's Joshua Tree National Park, you can still responsibly dig your own cactus and take home a little piece of the desert at Cactus Mart in Morongo Valley.
So Nicole.
Yes, Steve.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, doing good. I want to learn about this place a little bit. This has got some history here.
This
no?
place does have some history. It was originally Terps Bar, Hitching Post Bar back
Turks?
in Terps, T-E-R-P. Terps House, Terps Bar, back in the 50s until Bill Porter took it over, I would say in the early 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, he created the Cactus Mart. So let me show you some of our artists.
So you got Snake's work here.
Yes, Steve, I have Snake Jagger, one of your favorite artists.
He is.
Yes, Snake came up to the high desert about 2 years ago from Palm Springs. He has a very contemporary style of art that he does, and he works really well with the low desert, the modern mid-century, does very well with Modernism Week. However, we really enjoy him up here. He's really taken off. Tammy Wood is also another local artist we have here, and she is very funky and eclectic with her art.
She does a lot of folk art.
She
and
does.
Found
I
object
love
stuff.
her art. It's bright, bold, just fun stuff.
This is one of the strangest ocotillos I have ever laid eyes on.
The copper wire ocotillo is from artist Laura Long. She came up with this piece, and I just had to have it. I love it. It's kind of like the whole symbol of the desert up here. Everybody loves when they bloom, and if you can't have one that, you know, if you can't make one survive, you can just buy a piece of art.
Now these are cactus from like all over the world though, right?
All over the deserts, all the deserts. A wide variety. Everybody has a different taste. Traditional cholla, snow poles, anything you can think of, we're more likely to have.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, I've never seen our cholla bloom like this.
you just haven't watered and cared for it correctly then, Steve.
You're supposed to water your cactus?
It does need a little bit of attention. Not much, but a little bit of attention. That's the beautiful thing about having a cactus is it's very low maintenance, low water. It just needs minimal. You don't need a gardener if you're going to have a cactus garden.
I hear you can go dig your own.
You can.
And that's kind of the traditional
That's the
experience
tradition.
here, right?
That's the sign that it gets everyone in here.
Well, I
is
want to
to
dig some
your
cactus,
own.
man.
All
I want
right,
to dig some
let's
cactus.
go dig some. You got your gloves?
No,
Someone's going to need some duct tape.
I'm
Everything
ready.
you
I'm
need.
going to get me some cactus.
All right.
How about this little poor fellow right here? It's a little beaver tail.
He needs a new home.
Okay. Now, I'm not familiar with cactus root systems, so how far out do you dig on these things?
Not very far.
Okay.
And then you're just going to slightly, just the circumference of the cactus, just
Okay.
start digging out. The root system isn't going to be very much at all. That's why you have the gloves, because you're pretty much going to go in and just yank that puppy out. And then you'll set him back in the pot. I know.
How does he feel about this?
He'll be happy when he gets to his new place with more room.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's pretty loose and ready to go.
Yeah.
So now, how do I get this thing out of the ground?
Very carefully.
Thank you so much.
We picked out one that didn't have the big pointy spines on it. So we have a real simple little beaver tail, but still carefully, gingerly, gloves.
All right.
There you go. You see the roots?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those
Sweet.
very easily, yep.
Oh, it's so cute.
He's going to grow up to be a very big boy.
Yeah, these things can really take off.
They can take off, yeah.
Something tells me Minerva, Hamilton, Hoyt, and Nicole would get along just fine. After all, they both share a passion for the desert and all its beauty. Nearby, up Big Morongo Canyon, is a place few locals know, but I find interesting. So we're here at Angel Canyon Circle, which is an ancient healing circle located in Big Morongo Canyon in Morongo Valley. This is one of 7 healing circles that have been made around the world, from Peru to Turkey, Madagascar, Tibet, Japan, and Australia, each of them having their own unique powers. Now, it's said that when you go into the eye of God, the center circle, that connects you with the energies of the other 7 circles. I've heard it that if you go in and somebody is in one of the other circles, you can whisper to each other and you'll hear each other, but I don't know if that's true or not. And I don't know where the other circles are, so we don't have anybody in one. But it's also supposed to be great healing power in these circles. And people come here to pray and to meditate and to be healed. And you certainly can't find a much better spot than this. You've got beautiful views all around, and it's all isolated and secluded, and you can just kind of be at one with everything right here. So let's see if we can hear anything from Peru or Madagascar. A lot of wind. Now it's said that the Indians that lived in this region would not live up this canyon because the canyon made a very strange sound sometimes. And I've come across newspaper clippings from the early part of the 20th century referring to the noise here as a dynamo hum. And what it is, the wind comes out from San Gorgonio and the San Bernardino Mountains and funnels through the canyon and makes a very strong, powerful noise that can be unnerving if you don't know what it is. This is supposedly built upon the remnants of an Indian medicine wheel. I don't know if that's true or not, but this certainly has a peaceful feeling to it. And as far as I'm concerned, the whole desert's sacred, so respect it, please. You can find inspiration in some unusual places in the high desert. One of my favorite artists can be found in a trailer park in Morongo. The incredible award-winning artist and pirate, Snake Jagger. You're one of the desert's legendary artists.
Yeah.
For probably a lot of reasons,
Right,
I'm sure.
yeah.
Not just the art. But tell me a little bit about how you got connected with the desert and then how you became an artist.
Well, I first moved to the desert when I was about 17. I moved in with my father, who lived off of Frank Sinatra Drive. He used to work for Frank Sinatra back when I was younger for about 15 years as his personal valet. When I was 17, I ran away from home from my mom's house in LA and moved in with my dad in the desert. And that was my beginning of living here and starting to appreciate the whole desert environment.
How did you decide to become an artist?
Well, I'll tell you that it was a day when I was 6 years old. I was watching my mom and dad. They were painting pictures. The only time I've ever seen them doing anything like that together, it was just a one time. She was painting a picture and he was painting a picture, and a light switch went off in my head. From that moment, I started drawing and doodling, and I never stopped.
You've come up with a vision of the desert. You call it what, whimsical surrealism?
Right, whimsical and a manicured desert.
Right. It's at once recognizable, but yet isn't quite like any desert I've ever walked across.
This is true. If I had control of the world, the whole place would be a neat and tidy place, and everything would be raked. Every rock would be in its place. That's
very organized.
I'm a neat freak, and that's kind of it shows in my work.
How did you become a pirate?
When I was young, it started with the Burt Lancaster movies.
Okay.
Crimson Pirate, things like that.
Was
And Treasure Island and things like that. I mean, I've always had that inside of me. And it wasn't until the Pirates of the Caribbean came out that I realized that's really kind of who I am. I kind of call my own shots. I live by my own rules. I'm here in my ship, and I'm the captain. And I love that feeling. That's what art feels like. To be able to, once in a while, be a pirate, it's great. There's nothing better than that.
Well, let's go look at a few things, and
okay.
We'll let you get back to work after that.
All right. So this is my self-portrait, and this was painted, I saw that Norman Rockwell painting where he was painting himself, looking at himself in the mirror and painting. So I set up an easel in my backyard and a stump of wood to sit on, and had the camera set to a timer and took the photo of myself that I used to paint this and create this image of me on a beach looking out at the ocean but painting the desert. My lip sync days, back many days where I was a professional lip syncer, and this is me doing Adam Ant.
No, wait a minute. How do you get to be a professional lip syncer?
You win contests over and over, and then you have a weekly show at Zelda's, Snake and the Charmers. So every week I would portray a different artist. When I was Diana Ross, I was
still got the dress?
I was looking so good. I went home with myself that night. I'm telling you, that was. And you know, it's doing
cheap date that way.
Very cheap. Doing the lip syncing was a regular thing. It was a weekly show I had in Zelda's to do lip ups, to keep my lips in shape.
Huh?
Oh yeah, you know when you do this push ups with your lips. Oh yeah, I was.
How do you do lip ups?
Lip ups.
Man?
Look like this.
I
you know,
mean, because
you gotta
doesn't
get
your
on
nose
a
get in
flat
the
foot.
way?
Well, you're going like this. Now watch. Not too many people could do this. 1, 2, 1, 2. You know, so my lips were in tip-top shape in those days, and that's what I was doing. You know, and you practice and practice and practice until you get your songs right to where it looks like you're the one singing it, you know, where it's believable.
Morongo Valley has a long history. It's situated between the San Bernardino and Little San Bernardino Mountains and had been home to Indian tribes of the area for thousands of years. There was evidence that Mexicans mined this area long before it was settled by Anglos, and later Al Capone spent some time here, not far from his fortress west in Two Bunch Palms. But Capone wasn't the only criminal to come through Morongo Valley. In 1909, the last great posse manhunt of the West came through the valley on its way out into the Mojave. In 1909, Indians were still not yet able to become citizens of the country built upon their lands. A Chemehuevi Paiute Indian, Willie Boy, fell in love with his young cousin, Carlotta Boniface. During an altercation out at Gilman Ranch in Banning, Carlotta's father, Mike Boniface, was killed. Willie Boy and Carlotta escaped on foot into the desert. A posse chase ensued, with the press whipped into a frenzy as a murderous Indian was said to be on the loose just as President William Howard Taft was arriving for a visit in nearby Riverside. Carlotta was shot and killed during the chase, possibly mistaken from a distance by one of the posse as Willie Boy himself. The chase continued across the desert with a final shootout on Ruby Mountain, where Willie Boy pinned down the posse, wounding a deputy and killing several of their horses. Some say Willie Boy shot himself with his last bullet, but I don't think so. Historical evidence and oral accounts from those who knew him indicate he didn't die up on Ruby Mountain, but his story remains a sensitive topic to this day among family members of both Willie Boy and Mike Boniface. In Morongo Valley, a restaurant and watering hole, once a meeting place for the LA and Vegas mob, is now named after Willie Boy. Owner Curtis Coram has dug into the history of the building and its location and has uncovered that the building has its own criminal past.
Curtis, Steve, good to see you. Now, Willie Boy's, it's an incredible place, but it's got also an incredible history to it. So let's go back in time a little bit and talk about how this place got here.
All right. Yeah, it's a very long and twisted history, I would say.
Twisted indeed. So this was the original, right?
Yes, this is the original Morongo Lodge, built in 1925. I believe it was probably torn down or burnt down. And this building actually sat, I think, right here in the middle of our dance floor.
Okay.
And then Ducky Irwin added on the room, which is our main dining room, roughly 1935, I believe.
He's got quite the story, no?
Yes, he does. Was a bookie that was murdered and still considered an unsolved murder.
Interesting.
Even though we know who actually murdered him.
We do?
Yes.
Okay.
Cast of characters are right there.
I know, and this looks like literally the cast of a film noir movie.
It really does, yeah.
I think we got a good story there.
The night that he left here, he wrote this poem on the wall in the room that he built in our dining room.
Okay. But it's not there anymore.
No, it's been covered over. But so later that night, he went to Hollywood. He was murdered, and the rumor is that the people that murdered him actually came back, and there's units out back, 200 square foot units,
Like little cabins.
little cabins where he stayed, and they came back and took whatever they were wanting from him, probably money or whatnot.
His books, maybe.
His books, yeah, there you go. And plus, there's brothels out back.
There's brothels out back.
Yeah, see, these little units are still there, and this is actually where they ran the
Oh,
brothel.
wow. Okay.
And they still
It's kind of a
exist.
small one, but.
Yeah, got the job done.
How did you decide to take this on?
Oh, I ask myself that question frequently. What was I thinking? Every square inch of this place I designed. I bought every antique, hung every picture.
That's pretty crazy.
I designed everything.
That's pretty
Yeah, labor of
crazy.
love.
Well, we're gonna go check out the food, and I can hear the band getting ready.
Wow, good timing.
Whoa!
Careful, it's too.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Ribs. Nice.
Okay, so that's my dinner.
One more, sir.
Okay, I'll eat one more.
All right, fresh out of the smoker. That's our brisket and our St. Louis ribs.
Okay, everybody. To the good people of Morongo, to Willie Boys, and the California Celts. Thank you all.
With its criminal past, it's only appropriate that I join the California Celts, a Celtic pirate ska band, for a set at Willie Boy's. They're a band that's a party waiting to happen.
Cactus rain on the Joshua tree, bit at the gut, but finds a flea. Like the band in the old shotgun, it is a yuck beat you up at night, you smile, nice and nice, in the night. Catching a hair in the never blake line, it is a yuck Oh, yeah. Go! Johnny's on the move of a hot black top, some of on fires Italian rock. Shoot the candle on a table, it is a yakka. Your cut, your free, your soda. Time for the reasons of my good. Time for the head for 29 months, it is a yakka. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, let's go! Go! Bring my Harley and a diamond back, a family credit guy you jack. I'm Chinese, but my junior, it is a yucca. Just a
There's always more to a place than what you see as you drive through on the highway, and Morongo Valley is no exception. It's a great place with some truly special people and, of course, some incredible Southwest stories.
Go! Shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
Southwest Stories with Steve Brown is made possible by the support of The Real Route 66, Chicago to LA, a 2-week tour of America's Mother Road, May 2015. Lake Havasu City, Arizona, home to the historic London Bridge. Beaches, boating, fishing, and golf. Calmada Boutique Hotel, a desert bed and breakfast resort with a French chef, located on 40 acres near Joshua Tree National Park. China Ranch, a working date farm and natural oasis near Death Valley National Park, open for visitation year-round. The Ridgecrest area, western gateway to Death Valley National Park, home to the annual Petroglyph Festival. The historic 29 Palms Inn, dining, music, and lodging on the Oasis of Mara near Joshua Tree National Park.